How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Acura dares to drive beyond standard. A torque-vectoring super-handling all-wheel drive system, standard in the Acura RDX. Panoramic moonroof and premium 3-row seating, standard in the Acura MDX. Sound that surrounds you, an 18-speaker Bang & Olufsen premium sound system comes standard in the all-electric ZDX, the Acura RDX, ZDX, and MDX, where precision meets craftsmanship. Visit Acura.com to learn more.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@RamsUpPodcast. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined often by my football guru, Ian, along with a bunch of other friends of the show on occasion. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Another Rams Up update for you here. We're going to share some news and some observations about our Los Angeles Rams as we get closer and closer to training camp in the 2025 season. And before I get started, I watched some of the quarterback series on Netflix, the first episode, and I have three things I learned from that first episode. The first one is, the Goffs came across as pretty nice people, pretty good people. I thought him and his wife. I know Ram fans are all twisting in the wind about what he said about the Rams. But that aside, I still am a big fan of Jared Goff. I hope the Rams clobber him this year at SoFi. But him and his wife came across as pretty cool people, down to earth. And didn't know much about her, but she came across really well, I thought, in that episode. The second thing I learned is, twofold. Joe Burrow doesn't know how to do laundry, but he does know how to play the piano, for what that's worth. And the third thing I learned is, now I understand why my son was asking me about stem cells and using them to treat his shoulder injury rather than surgery. He asked me that question, and I was like, where did this come from? And then I watched the episode, and Kirk Cousins flying to the Caribbean for a stem cell, what do we call it? Stem cell service? Stem cell treatment? Stem cell therapy? Something that I guess is hard to find, if not illegal in the United States. But that's where my son got that idea. But those are the three things I learned from that episode. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Bootleg Football. They had a really good 1 hour segment, 1 hour plus segment on the Rams and what makes them special and what makes them such a scary team in 2025. The title of that video, Nobody Wants to Play the Rams, basically. So check it out. Really good stuff. They talk about the Rams conversion, moving to the duo, and the running attack, how it's evolved over the last couple of years, and these big Rams offensive linemen just playing smash mouth pretty good stuff. I highly recommend it. And It is episode 779 on the podcast. I'm going to talk about a player who wore number 79, and that is defensive lineman Mike Fanning. Played defensive tackle, defensive end, nose tackle, all across that front there. 6'6", 255 pounds, out of Notre Dame. The Rams drafted him in 1975, and I somewhat remember this. He was a 9th overall pick, and this is at the tail end of Merlin Olsen's career. And there were a lot of people saw similarities between Mike Fanning and Merlin Olsen, and now that is not putting a rookie in a good position, telling him, hey, you're the next Merlin Olsen. But that was kind of the thought process, I think. And I may have been guilty of that, at least hopeful. When guys like Merlin Olsen and Aaron Donald retire, you don't want to be the next guy. Hey, remember the Dodgers, Steve Garvey and Greg Brock. It just put so much pressure on these guys. And, Fanning turned out to be a decent player, broke his leg in his rookie year and saw limited action after returning in the mid-season. And then had 8 sacks in 1979, 10 sacks in 1980, led the team in sacks in that strike-shortened 1982 season. So ended up playing for the Rams from 1975 to 1982, then moved on to the Lions and the Seahawks, who's actually traded to the Lions prior to the 83 season. So he ended up being a decent defensive lineman, worthy of the 9th overall pick. Absolutely not. But he was a guy that it was a pretty big deal when the Rams drafted him. They had such a history of great defensive linemen, and really, really a bad spot for a rookie coming out of Notre Dame to try to big shoes to fill, and he never really did. But Mike Fanning, decent player, pretty good player, number 79 for our Los Angeles Rams. He ended up having 45 starts for the Rams and had 35 and a half sacks on his career as a Los Angeles Ram. Hey, let's talk about a camp battle, and one that we haven't talked much about at all, and that is the number 4 running back spot. Now, let's rewind to last year. The Rams carried 3 running backs on their opening 53-man roster: Kyren Williams, Blake Corum, and Ronnie Rivers. Cody Schrader, they had picked him up after the 49ers released him, and he ended up on the practice squad, got pulled up for that Week 18 game. Great career at the University of Missouri. And then they have Jordan Waters, an undrafted rookie, and that's the guy I want to talk about here because this guy is really intriguing. Now, let's look at the measurables for Rivers, Schrader, and Waters. Rivers, 5'9", 192, runs a 4.6 40. Cody Schrader, 5'8", 202, runs a 4.6 140. So both of those guys are kind of in that Kyren Williams, Blake Corum mold, more or less. Then there's Jordan Waters, 6 feet, 225, and get this, faster than Rivers and Schrader, runs a 4.58 40. Not by much, but a tad faster, but 20 pounds on these guys, 25 to 20, 32 pounds on Ronnie Rivers. So 5 years at Duke and then transferred to North Carolina State. So he had a 6-year career at the college level, already 24 years old. And, he just breaks the mold of the Ram running backs. And maybe that's a good thing. And I went back and watched some tape on Jordan Waters, and he's actually appears to be a really good receiver as well. So this guy really intrigues me. I think he has a chance of bumping Schrader, possibly even Ronnie Rivers in this pecking order. So keep an eye on Jordan Waters. He's going to get a lot of touches in the preseason, and I think you're going to like what you see. Jordan Waters, one of my dark horses. I had forebode Taranian on this last episode, and we were talking about dark horses and guys that are going to come out of nowhere, and I didn't want to give it up. I said, there's someone I want to talk about, and that guy is indeed Jordan Waters. Keep your eye on him. I think Rams haven't had a guy like him. I would call him a change of pace back, just a different style running back. a guy that would probably be excellent in short yardage situations and also can catch the ball out of the backfield. I don't think any of our current wide running backs have proven that they are exceptional as far as that goes. Jordan Waters might be our best receiving running back at this moment. You heard it here first from Rams Up.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
When you wanna grow your list size, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. And when you gotta boost your revenue, pop up like it's hot, hey, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. Pick your favorite template, you can tailor to your brand. They're MailChimp-erific, you're gonna be a fan. MailChimp your marketing with our new customizable pop-ups.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
So Yahoo offered up some off-season grades, and 3 of the 4 NFC West teams came out graded out pretty well. The Rams were actually number 1, the best grade, an A, a solid A, and they noted Stafford's new contract. They noted bringing on Devontae Adams in place of Cooper Kupp, and maybe most significantly, acquiring an extra first-round pick next year. The 49ers, an A-, and they cited Purdy's contract and bringing Robert Saleh back, and the Fred Warner and George Kittle extensions. Now, I assume everything they're citing here is in a positive light. I'm not sure I would give a high grade for the Purdy contract, but that's just me. The Cardinals also came in with an A-. They cited the Trey McBride extension, and that is a solid move, one of the best tight ends in the league at this point. And then signing Josh Sweat, the defensive end, Dalvin Tomlinson, the defensive tackle, bringing back Calais Campbell, and they also noted signing backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett. I don't know where that comes from, but they seem to like that move. Now, the thing about the Cardinals, I might have actually downgraded their offseason, given that 5 of their first 5 draft picks were all on defense. 6 out of 7 of their draft picks were defense, and then their significant moves, free agent moves, were also defense. So I'm a little concerned about their offense. Hey, they have McBride, they have Marvin Harrison, they have Kyler Murray, James Conner, but there's some holes, I think, on that offensive line. But nonetheless, they give the Cardinals an A-, and the Seahawks a B-. Sam Darnold for Geno Smith, Cooper Kupp for DK Metcalf. Noted those moves, but they also noted that the Seahawks did not upgrade their guards, so there's some question marks there. So Rams, 49ers, Cardinals all grading out well. So next up here, I have a matrix of sorts. For those of you listening on the podcast, I'm going to have 2 slides here, 2 visuals, trying to quantify if each NFC team has the quarterback, the coach, and the roster to win a Super Bowl, assessing each of those elements separately. And what you want to do is, if you want your team to get to the Super Bowl, you want to see green across the board here. Now, we've talked about how the three elements are coach, quarterback, and health. So we don't know what's going to happen on the injury front, but do these teams have the roster to get to the Super Bowl along with the coach and the quarterback? So at the top here I have the Packers, and they're green across the board. LaFleur, Love, and they have a very solid roster. They draft so well. The Vikings, they have the coach. I could see O'Connell winning a Super Bowl. I think he has what it takes. The quarterback situation, we really don't know. But the Vikings have one of the better rosters in the league, offense and defense. They have weapons. They have some really good pass rushers. So 2 out of 3 for the Vikings. McCarthy could surprise us. And, when I'll be talking about a lot of young quarterbacks here, and I always go back to the 1999 Rams. If I were to do this for the Rams, I would probably have green for the coach, green for the roster, but a giant yellow question mark for the quarterback. And I probably would have said they got no shot. As a Rams fan, I probably would never say that, but you understand where I'm coming from here when we talk about guys like McCarthy and some of these other quarterbacks we'll be talking about here in a second. So Packers green across the board, Vikings 2 out of 3. The Lions, I think they are green across the board. And, there's some questions about Goff. Does he have what it takes to win a Super Bowl? I think he does. He's not going to win the team the Super Bowl, but I think he's good enough, surrounded by the right players and the right coaching. I do have concerns about the Lions' loss of the offensive and defensive coordinator there. But nonetheless, Lions green across the board. The Bears, I got them as yellow across the board. Not happening. Ben Johnson, well, we just don't know if he has what it takes. When you the history of coordinators being promoted to head coaches, it's a mixed bag. So we can't say anything about him yet. And Caleb Williams, I'm not sold on him as a quarterback-worthy, Super Bowl-worthy quarterback quite yet. And their roster, they've been slowly improving it, especially along the offensive line, but still some questions. The Commanders, Dan Quinn is the head coach, yes. Jaden Daniels as the quarterback, yes. And I think the roster is good enough. The Cowboys, I'm giving them 1 out of 3 and probably going to get the most criticism here. Brian Schottenheimer, I'm saying no. And Dak Prescott, great regular season quarterback. Is he a stats patter? I'm not trying to say that, but I don't know. There's just something missing there. There's that it element is missing. You could say that about Goff too, I guess, but maybe being a little harsh on Prescott. But the roster is good enough, I think. They're not going to go green across the board because Schottenheimer is a question mark there. But still, 1 out of 3 for the Cowboys. And then the Giants, 0 out of 3. Brian Daboll, borderline. Russell Wilson, maybe 7-8 years ago. And their roster still has some significant question marks. And then the Eagles, well, obviously, they're green across the board. They just got it done. So no sense spending any time talking about them. Now we go on to the next 2 divisions, and we have the Falcons. Love Raheem Morris, but I can't give him a thumbs up yet. Michael Penix, he's in that J.J. McCarthy category. The 1999 Kurt Warner category, we just don't know. And their roster, they drafted 2 edge rushers early to address a really big problem, but we don't know yet. Their pass rush was pitiful last year. The Carolina Panthers, 0 for 3. Their head coach, Bryce Young, the quarterback, and their roster, they have ways to go. And the New Orleans Saints, I like Kellen Moore. I could see him winning a Super Bowl, but there's another one of those young quarterbacks that we don't know about yet, Tyler Shugg, and then the roster has some issues. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Bowles, I don't know, man. I'm kind of borderline on him. I do like Baker Mayfield. I think I could see him hoisting the Super Bowl trophy. That's what you got to do here is close your eyes. Can you picture Baker Mayfield celebrating at midfield after a Super Bowl? I could see it, and they have a very good roster. Top 10 roster in the league, actually, I think. The Seahawks, I'm going 0 for 3. McDonald, Darnold, and the roster's borderline. They've had such a turnover there. We need to see a little bit more. By week 4, I could change that to green. The Arizona Cardinals, I'm going 0 for 3. Gannon, I like him. Need to see more of these defensive coordinators have become head coaches. It's a longer a road to success, I think, in those cases. They need to get the right people in place. And Kyler Murray, man, you watch this podcast, listen to this podcast, you know by now, Kyler Murray is a scary quarterback to go up against, but when push comes to shove, when you get to crunch time, I kind of like to see him out there if I'm the Rams, because something's going to go sideways from the Cardinals' perspective. And their roster, man, they really stacked up the defense. We already talked about that. Some other issues, though. The 49ers, green across the board. Shanahan, he has a trouble holding leads in big games, obviously. But come on, he's one of the best coaches in the league. And Brock Purdy, I think I could envision him winning a Super Bowl. I really could. I kind of put him in the same category as Jared Goff. And then the roster, it may be slightly downgraded from previous seasons, but it's still pretty rock solid. And then we have the Rams, and don't need to talk about that very much. Sean McVay has won a Super Bowl. Their quarterback, Matthew Stafford, has won a Super Bowl. And then this roster is pretty darn good. Not a lot of holes in it. Definitely good enough to win a Super Bowl. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with 6 teams. I've decided here, 6 teams that can represent the NFC and potentially win a Super Bowl. That is the Packers, Lions, Commanders, Eagles, 49ers, and Rams. There you have it. We don't need to play. We just need to put these 6 guys in a single elimination tournament and figure out who the best is. It's going to be one of these 6 teams. Going out on a limb here, one of these 6 teams is going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And that brings me to another thing. I have here on the YouTube channel displayed the schedules, the strength of schedule for the Rams and 49ers. Now, what I did here was I plugged in the power rankings from the most recent Bleacher Report article, and I think they're fairly accurate. You could tweak them here and there, I'm not trying to beat this to death again about how easy the 49ers schedule here is. What I'm trying to show here is I think the Rams and 49ers both get to the playoffs. 2 teams from the NFC West are going to get to the playoffs. So when you look at this visual I have here, the Rams play the number 1 ranked team, the Eagles, and the number 4 and 5 ranked teams, the Ravens and the Lions, and then the Bucks, the 7th ranked team, and then the 11th ranked team, the Texans, and they play the 49ers, the 15th ranked team, twice. After that, a bunch of bottom feeders, the Falcons, the Cardinals twice, the Seahawks twice, Jags, Colts, Panthers, Titans, and Saints. So the Rams, as long as they don't, blow chunks against these teams they're supposed to beat, they're going to be in the playoffs. And the 49ers, after the Bucks, they play the Bucks, the 7th ranked team. That's the highest ranked team they play. They play the 8th ranked team, the Rams, twice, and the 11th ranked Texans. After that, every team they play is 18th ranked or worse. The Falcons, the Bears, the Cardinals twice, the Seahawks twice, the Jags, Colts, Panthers, Browns, Giants, Titans, and Saints. And by the way, the teams listed in yellow, that's just highlighting the games that these 2 teams do not have in common. The Rams playing the Eagles, Ravens, and Lions, and the 49ers playing the Bears, Browns, and Giants. Man, these 2 teams are going to have no excuses. They really aren't. The Rams, those 3 of those games at the top, Eagles, Ravens, and Lions are going to, they got to find a way to win 1, hopefully 2 of those. But even if, if they go 1-2 in those games, they're going to be sitting pretty looking at the rest of the schedule. They just can't afford to lose to these NFC South and AFC South teams, and same with the 49ers. Again, this is going to be a big advantage in the wild card battles. It's going to be a big deal as far as who wins the division, obviously, but just trying to drill home the fact that the Rams and the 49ers in all likelihood are both going to be in the playoffs. That's my prediction. So that's all I got this episode. Hope you enjoy that. We will come back in a couple of days. We're going to be joining a Seattle Seahawks podcaster. That'll be on his channel, though. I'll share that information with you when it happens. And Ian and I will be back midweek, probably in all likelihood, out here from Rams Up.
Rated T for teen. Each year, thousands of adults lose their shred. It's an epidemic simply known as shred loss. But it doesn't have to be this way, because rekindling your shred is as easy as playing the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. With new parks, cross-platform multiplayer, and sick new game modes, we can put an end to shred loss everywhere. Get the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 and show the world that the shred's not dead. Get Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 available now.
That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.